Hey, my name is Calvin,
And my name is Kevin,
and we are
the Blasian Twins.
and this is
Martial Art Mindset.
All right, and we are here today at one of the dojos that we work at. Well, the one that I work at here, I am the head instructor here, so I teach all of the classes. This is after I've taught 6 classes today, so I've been teaching about 26, 27
Classes a week.
a week for 2 years now. For now over just over 2 years, and I calculate it's like 2,500 classes.
That's a
All right,
good
and
amount of classes.
that's not even counting all the other
Do you know what you're
extra
doing?
stuff. And
Do
the
you think you know what
private
you're doing
lessons.
after that many classes?
Do you think I know what I'm doing as a martial arts instructor, as a teacher? Yes. And talking about teaching, today what we're going to be talking about are two different things. I'm going to be talking about being the attacker or the aggressor during our training, because there's some parts where you got to do that, and then there's some parts where you got to be the defender. So there's some really key things that's very important as an attacker, and I think this is just important as martial artists anyways, and that's having intention. Okay, so making sure that you have the intention, like you are actually trying to hurt this person or trying to evoke this person to do something or to react. And especially if you're a good attacker, you'll get the right reaction that you're looking for, whether that's putting them deeper into more trouble or them figuring out how to get out of trouble. Now, when we first start, usually the first thing that when we're teaching most people is a wrist grab, just because that's something safe. We're not going to just be like, all right, it's your first day. Get out of here. Right? Well, sometimes actually I might. It depends.
Oh yeah, it depends on the person. It
Depends on the
depends on the person, because some people can take it,
Yeah, some of these teenagers, they be getting too hyped, and I'll be like, all right, come on, man, let's go.
Oh yeah.
Or some of these adults, bro. Like some of the adults.
Some of these adults, and then
And like, so what I'll do, it's a wrist grab. I'll talk about that, and then I'll talk about some other things. Okay, the wrist grab usually is what most, I feel like martial arts has some type of defense from this.
so and why do you think that is?
Because it's something that if you're teaching self-defense for a woman or for a child, like this is some place that would easily be grabbed. I don't think me as a grown man is going to take his wrist unless I just feel like I can pull him.
But when do you think? Okay, so I understand as a child, because if I'm smaller, how much bigger you are, or if I'm a lot smaller, you can grab me.
As a
when
we're actually getting into it, when we're actually scuffing,
So
or we're
for-
fighting over something, right?
like this?
Like that, right? So if I'm the attacker and the aggressor, I don't want to go like this. This is not a good example of that. So first off, when I've been teaching lately, I don't teach people put your hand out like this. So what I do as a teacher, I go for there. And then I go for it, and then they naturally want to put their hand. I'm like, no, that's a bad reflex. Don't do that, right? So that's just being mindful of that reflex, because you don't want to be used to that, and then you're already putting yourself in danger. So as the attacker, I also don't want to give no intention. This is not me committing to the attack. Look how far I am from him. I'm leaning forward. I'm off my balance. I'm off my center. I've already put him at a more advantaged position, and there's just no intention here, right? I don't also, especially during training right away, as the attackers just go, right? And especially for day one for somebody, right? That might scare them, but that's also the response I'm looking for. That might be a little too much for whatever's going on, okay? If I'm gonna be a good attacker, I'm just gonna make sure I have intention, and at the same time, I'm keeping that pressure for them to figure out what's going on there. So if I'm here, maybe I'm not just gonna stay here, because it's terrible when you're seeing technique demonstrations and you see attackers and they go like this. Ah! He used a mind trick on me. You see that?
Oh wait, hold on. Let's demonstrate the whole mind trick.
Okay.
You okay there, bud? You're okay now, okay? All right, you good?
Help, get us water. Yeah, like, come on, cheat master. All right, no, that's another topic. But as the attacker, I want to keep pressure. Okay, I want to keep pressure. So if I'm just even going for this wrist grab, I might do something like that. I'm not going super crazy, but it elicited a response out of him, right? It triggered a response, is what you're looking for. So look at what his response was as a defender, which he'll talk about being a defender later. That way I have control. This is pretty realistic. It's like, hey man, why are you trying to take my keys, or why you whatever? I don't know, man. Let go of my phone, right? Because then, as the attacker, if I want to take it up levels instead of just keeping pressure, I could keep pressure by doing this. One, pushing forward, or trying to take them out of their space. That's being more forceful and having the intention. But I got to know this is what I'm looking for. Or even just still with that wrist grab, I'm going to pull them that way, right? I have to know which way I'm going to go as the attacker, because then it can make the defender work even easier. Now, if we're going with something like a choke, same thing. I just don't want to go here, unless we're practicing technique, obviously. But if we're doing it to have more of that stress factor, where you see the cool demonstrations, people doing stuff, right? This is no intention. This is like, okay, you're touching my neck. Why? Right? So, what you'd want to do is not this either. Right? Unless you get to higher levels, I don't know. That depends on your instructor.
And your level of crazy.
That too. But no, one, we want to come back to train. So as an attacker, you do not need to hurt your partner. You do not need to hurt who you are working with. That's not good collaboration there. As the attacker, I want to keep the pressure. Here's how I'll keep that pressure. Driving him forward, moving him out of his space.
Can I say one thing too?
Yes.
Also, when you're working with the neck, I want to say this because you can't see it on camera. When he's doing it, it looks like he's choking me, but he's really pushing on my collarbones.
Right here.
So that I can feel what that pressure feels like without being hurt.
Mm-hmm. Without actually being choked. Knowing that if I was actually being choked, am I doing the right response? Am I eliciting the right response? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I wouldn't want to make my intention go this way and then try to change my intention as the attacker, because then it messes the flow up of the energy that you have going. Okay? Now, you also have defenses here. You want to make sure as the attacker that you're in a position that's going to make it great for them to be successful. You don't want to be an attacker and be like, yes, I can attack somebody that's sitting still. No, if we're working together and trying to make him better, I want to make sure I'm giving enough energy to be standing how I need to. I don't want to stand like this as I'm defending.
Oh, that, you know what that reminds me of, how you're standing? It reminds me of when you're at church.
Oh, these little half,
a little half church hug.
Yeah, no.
You gotta commit to that hug. Commit to that hug.
You gotta commit. You gotta commit to that choke, right? You gotta commit to it. And see, look, it's eliciting a response for him. He's gonna have to figure it out. Now, one other thing that we need to make sure that we're doing as attackers, and I hope that as we're saying all these things, it's actually helping you think about how to attack what you have going on in your life right now. Okay, so
what are some things that you're attacking in your life right now? And why are you attacking those things?
I have been attacking my mentality. I've been attacking the old software that I have installed up here.
You've been talking about that for months now. So.
Yeah, it's like I've been really focusing on updating my own software so that just like everything else has 2.0, 2.1, whatever. I feel like I'm consistently doing that so that I can keep up with the times for myself, but not just keep up with the times, more so keeping myself grounded. Right? So as I'm growing up, I'm growing deeper too. Right? So I've been attacking being able to make sure I stay within that growth with everything. So right now it's been just
What are some of those things that have been attacking you to stop that growth? Because that's what you're protecting.
Anxiety,
Mm.
which is future like fear of pain about to happen. Right. So if I'm in attack mode for this and I'm an attacker and my brain's not in the right space, and I'm trying to work with other people, and I'm trying to work with other people to make them better, but I'm actually angry. That's where things go wrong, right? And that's where I've been making sure to attack my ego, especially if I've been teaching these 2,500 classes. I've been teaching mainly children, and what I've had to learn how to do is drop my ego to make sure I'm giving the best for each child and making sure that each thing that I'm doing with them is fair. That each student's like, I'm not treating them for any different from them, and any different from any of the teens and adults. That I'm
And
teaching
we
as well.
have kids that are on the spectrum, kids with mental disorder, ADHD,
Physical disability.
physical disabilities
Mhm.
of all ages. So we treat them all the same.
Treat them all the same. But if I had that ego in there, the reason why the retention rate's so high here is because it's not driving the people away. Because I had to learn how to drive that ego out of me. I had to learn how to attack that ego out of me because I had intention of becoming better for myself to be better for other people. So being better for yourself to be better for other people, one huge point of attacking, and we're going to wrap it up soon, is knowing your positioning. Knowing where you need to be in order to be as most effective for you. But at the same time, as an attacker, especially when you get to higher levels, I want to be able to find tricky positions to make it harder for them to figure out what to do. Right? So with that headlock, bar arm, here. Naturally, most people just going into the defense part, they'll do this, right? That's eliciting his response. If you don't know a technique, what I've found, most people are going to do this. They're going to move that way, naturally, and then they're putting themselves into a worse position. Now, unless he knew what to do there, which, if he tried to take me down now, I'm in a better position.
Oh yeah, that would be
But
bad.
as the attacker, if I had my ego and I didn't have my control and this person didn't know what was going on here, you attack them, boom, and they do that and you're holding super tight on that bar arm, this could happen, right? Oh, bad news. No, seriously, you can cause damage to your partner. And then, you got to call the hospital, do all those things, you get sued. All sorts of stuff. So as the attacker, knowing that, I'm putting the pressure on, but at the same time, I got to understand my positioning to be able to release that pressure when needed to keep me safe and to keep him safe. I had a student one time, we were doing this same defense right here. And instead of doing the technique, he tried and did something else, which please don't do it to me because I've been teaching all day. All right. Now, what he did was flip me over his shoulders. Right, so how does that look? Just to
Flip
do the
over
motion.
shoulder.
Yeah. Did that. I'll just do a light one. Real light, please. Right? Flip me over the shoulders. And luckily, I knew how to break fall and catch myself. And what happened is because that person, they were learning from me, they didn't understand the positioning. He knew, I got him off me in a cool way. But I knew, okay, I have been here before. And they went back for him immediately. But that's because as an attacker with my intention, I got to understand what aggression I give is most likely the energy I'm going to get back too. Right?
Yep.
I must have triggered enough of a response to give him an aggressive enough response to do that instead of what I taught him, which still worked. But then that could also put me at a detriment if I got hurt.
Or if you hurt him.
It's the same, right? Because if I would have did something and then just reacted, because that's where I got to make sure I keep my ego together. I don't want to react. Be like, man, you threw me, bam, right?
How was the bomb or the explosion found?
On
the
accident.
reaction.
off of reaction. So to conclude everything, to wrap everything up as the attacker, intention is huge. It is key. That is key for everything. What also is key is knowing that positioning, okay? And then knowing when to apply pressure, when to release that pressure. All right, and let's think about how me being the attacker in this moment for what we're teaching here about attacks. Let's think about how we can attack what we're doing in our everyday. Right? What is my intention for why I'm doing this thing? What is the intention why I'd wake up to go hiking barefoot in the morning? For most mornings, my intention is I'm looking for a secluded place so that I can read the word. I'm also earthing. I'm also bringing my energy up. It's also giving me a challenge. It's making me go, oh man, if I can go on these rocks, I can go on these trails, I can go on gravel, walk barefoot, and still come in here and be okay. You still got baby soft feet.
That's some good lotion.
You know, yeah. My toes, they need some work, but my feet.
You know what it also sounds like is you're stacking a bunch of things and then attacking your body to be able to withstand.
And then
conditioning.
And then attacking that, knowing my positioning. Is this the right time that I need to do it? If I'm gonna fit this hike in, what time do I need to wake up so I can make sure? Because I really enjoy doing this, but I have other things I need to do. Like, all right, maybe I need to wake up earlier. Or knowing my positioning too. What am I doing late at night? Where I am. What can I do to make sure I'm in the right position to be? And if I'm gonna do that, maybe I need to get more pressure on myself. Or then, like today, I wanted to go hiking, but I was seeing my positioning in my body, and I took the pressure off because I could have hurt myself. Knowing that, because I had to cinch my body. So let's think about what it is that you can attack for yourself. What are one thing before we finish? What's something that you've been attacking?
Old habits. So similar to the software, but like old habits, and that's a daily battle for me because if it's a habit, it's something that is automatic, something that you're not thinking about. So it really takes a lot of awareness to be aware of the habits that are not serving you well. So what I've done is start looking within and see, how does this habit make me feel? Is it just a temporary Band-Aid, or is there something I can replace it with? And it's not getting rid of a habit, because energy isn't created or destroyed. It's transferred to somewhere else. So if I have this habit, I'm not destroying a habit, I'm transferring that energy into another habit. But I'm attacking the old habit to cut that connection off, to let it go into a new habit. So that's what I've been working on.
And I'd like to end on a word with what you just said. Think and Grow Rich. What word do you think it is? I'll give you a hint.
Plus T.
Yeah. Transmutation. Transmute that energy. So as an attacker, you need to know how to transmute that energy, because at any point in time, I might become a defender. So, real quick, how long have you been doing martial arts?
Okay, so we've been doing martial arts for a quarter of a century, and we've been teaching for at least more than half a decade now. Okay, so a lot of classes taught in between, a lot of different styles that we've come in contact with, and this is some of the information that we've gotten to gain, and we want to share it with you guys.
Yes. Now, we're not going to go into deep about one specific style, because, like you said, we've learned so many different types since we were 5 years old. All right, first it was Hapkido, then we learned Capoeira, then we learned a bunch of boxing and kickboxing and Muay Thai, and then we know how to do a bunch of weapons, and then...
Yes. So what we're here for is what our shirt says, what this says, is the mindset that we've gained going through all of that process. Okay.
So he's earned 2 black belts. One, we've earned one of the same black belt. So, and I've earned 2 black belts. He's earned a different black belt, and I earned another black belt on my own in a different system. And of course, we come together.
And then I have a regular black belt.
Share our knowledge. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Okay. There's a joke there, but it's gone now.
Okay, but so going to defending. So when it comes to defending, it's probably one of the first things that you should do before you attack. Because think about being the first caveman to have found fire and you don't know how to harness this yet, you're probably going to burn some stuff. Okay, so we don't want to go and burn ourselves. Let's learn how to protect this body that we have. One of the first ways you can do that is understanding awareness. So that is the first step. Everybody can be aware. If we can see, we can be aware with our eyes. If you can't see, you can be aware with your ears. If you can't hear, you can feel the space around you. There's some way that you can always be aware. Okay, now this is if we're able-bodied, have all our senses. I'm gonna have him stand.
All our limbs.
All our limbs and stuff. Okay, I'll have him stand here, and I'll stand this far here. Okay, now thinking in a self-defense setting, okay, I mean even in the word self-defense, defense. So when he's this far away, he can't hurt me from here. Now, of course, if he has a projectile or something, he can throw it at me or whatever. Now, we're assuming that he doesn't have any of that, which your pockets were empty. I'm glad they were. Okay, but if he's that far away, he can't kick, he can't punch me. So this, or hit me with him. So I'm safe. So this is like code white, okay? Now, as I get a little bit closer, okay, now this is starting to get like, okay, white to code yellow, okay? It didn't hit me, but if he takes one step forward, now, bam, now I'm hit. Okay, so that is code yellow, boom, he's a step away, okay? So can you step back? All right, now, when I am this far away from him, I am in his long range, so this is getting like code orange, okay? I still have enough time to escape, so if I see a movement, I still have enough time to escape. But if I don't move in time, I don't react, I look away, I'm going to get hit, okay? Now, if I'm this close, this is red, okay, boom. Now, that is what you want to keep in mind when you're practicing, or way you can practice it is when you're walking around other people, okay? Just in your head. So say we're walking down the street, in your head you just say this. So we're walking down, white, white, orange, orange, red, red. Red goes to white, okay? Then he's walking down the street, white, white, yellow, orange, red.
Is that training or is that paranoia?
It can be paranoia if you let it become paranoia, but have the intention for it to be training. Because when you intend yourself to train, you can turn it on or off. You can say, okay, I'm gonna do 5 reps of my awareness training. How far is my distance from somebody? You do those reps, you can stop, let your brain relax, because then it starts becoming automatic. Okay, so now that leads me to the next step of this, which is starting to move our body with it. So that's just becoming aware of it. If you have a partner, here's how you can practice it, besides just walking past somebody, okay? So he's that far, I will just say it out loud while he walks towards me or backs away from me. So white, or yellow, orange, red, 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 orange, yellow, red, orange, yellow, red. So and then you can alternate back and forth with your partner, okay? Now notice he wasn't attacking me or anything, but his positioning, his distance, had started turning on an alert system. Just like our car and our vehicles have check engine light, that's what this is right here. It's like, oh, there's something going on, check this out. It doesn't mean doesn't mean I'm gonna just punch him in the face, because if we're walking past each other, boom, just because he walked past me, okay? But I had just that check engine goes on and I can choose to turn it on or off, okay? And that's called discernment, but we'll save that for another time. Now, let's take this up to the second level, okay? Now, this is very important to now make a connection with your body and the aggressor's body. We'll say he's the aggressor here, okay? Now, he's just gonna be walking towards me like he did earlier, so starting code white first. A little bit further. You can start like a safe distance to where you can comfortably take a breath, okay? That's typically
Code breath.
2 to 3 steps,
6 feet.
6 feet. Okay. Now, what I'm gonna do is have my hands be connected with the distance he is from me. So if he's that far away, I'm gonna have my hands here because he can't hurt me. The closer he gets to me, the higher my hands start to come. So by the time it's at red, my hands are where I can hit him in the face. Okay, now as he backs up, I start putting my hands lower just to practice that connection with someone else. Okay, so just do a few.
It's like a mime, like an octopus. Feeling.
All right, time there. Now, I'm sure you can see where there's that connection, okay? Of course, this is a drill. You would not do that in real life. You would look pretty silly if you're walking past somebody in the street. You just do that towards everybody. You're going to be the weirdo, okay?
Yeah, you might get an assault charge.
Like,
Or a creeper charge. I don't know.
yeah, probably that one. Now, how do you use this in realistically, okay? You have to first discern what is happening. If we're just walking down the street and I can tell, I want to be aware of what's around me. So first you got to be aware. So being like this, if you're going to be on your phone, run. They can also snatch you up, not just your phone, okay? And now, never to be seen again, okay?
And human trafficking does happen, especially for people that are smaller, because it's easier to snatch them up. It's easier to do things like.
And it's not always done big either.
No.
Sometimes it's just as simple as just be a little bit smaller.
Which, can I say something about this? This exact thing you just did. So with the students that I'm teaching, especially the younger ones, like I love to have fun in teaching. It's all about self-defense, though. And when the fun gets a little too much, and I'm trying to teach them something, and they like get out of hand, or there's one kid gets unfocused, and the other student gets unfocused, like all this other stuff happens. So have the intention to teach them why what you just showed is very important. And then I don't say anything, and I'll just start taking them to the door. I'll get all the way to the door, or all the way to the other door. And then I yell out loud, "Hey, you're never gonna be seen again. Your family's not gonna see you because you didn't defend yourself." And so you gotta know what you can use in proximity to that. And I make it very visceral so that they understand.
Because it's actually going to be, it's not always going to be that visceral. Like I said, it's going to be subtle. It's not. You saw how subtle that was?
And that's usually the reaction. Sadly, this is the reaction. Like I'll be a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old. I know this is class, but the reason why the attacker is attacking is to elicit a response. And in that instance, no response is not the best response.
Oh, we would hear our dad say that all the time. He would say to us, no response. Sorry.
The best response is no response. But in that instance,
you need to respond.
Yeah. So, like, if that happens, I teach them at least, Good. Oh, wait, let me go. You're not my dad.
Oh,
you're not my mom.
Which I want to take, which leads me to one of the things that, sorry to pause you, but leads me to one of the most important weapons, one of the most important weapons, tools that we have. It is our voice. I mean, we're sitting here giving you information. That's how valuable the voice is. Okay? By me grabbing him, he didn't hit me, he didn't punch me, but he alerted with his voice other people around him. Okay? Now, I remember I was watching this nature documentary. It was about some wild dog, packs of dogs. There's the packs of dogs. There's the little dogs that are
The runts.
They're a little bit more scared. They don't go out to hunt because they're small. So they don't go out to hunt. They just stay around running close to the pack. The wolves that are not so scared to go out and attack, they just stay around inside with the pack. Those smaller dogs, what they do is when they see something crazy happening, maybe there's an animal coming towards them, they do exactly what he just did, and they start because they're not going to go and attack it. But now they alerted the ones that will go attack to go do their job. So, but imagine if they saw something and they just went,
You know,
something attacks their whole pack because they didn't alert it.
you know what that also reminds me of, since you're talking about nature documentaries, are the monkeys that go, oh, 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 letting the like everybody know, like, yo, there's lions out, or yo, there's this.
And there's specific sounds for each of them too. Which, if you want to use specific sounds to save your family, just like the military had their code, just like there's Morse code, you could have a code for your family. Like if your family says, all right guys, time for us to use the bathroom, I don't know. Just think of something like, okay, hey guys, time to eat at a restaurant. If you just say that randomly at some point, you know that that is a trigger for, hey, this is danger right now.
Code, which is very important because, yeah, it's getting caught up around people. As a martial artist, we learn like you wanna hide as many of the tools that you actually have, so, because if somebody else sees that tool, then they know how to be able to defend it or copy it or whatever.
Or they want to attack and try to steal your tools.
Right. So like if you're in that sense of awareness, and you're like, hey, something feels off, and if I say something about you it feeling it off, then that's a perfect tool, especially like you said, for families. For friends going out or whatever it may be.
Yeah, families, friends.
We're twins, so we
This
just
is
do
one
the look. We're just like,
We know the look. Shoot, remember when we were watching The Expendables?
yeah, it's in the theater. It's like that in the movie.
And we were like, all right, this is cool. Expendables 3, you know, it's Jet Li.
Oh yeah,
who was in that?
Jason Statham,
Yeah.
Terry Crews,
All those folks, right?
Arnold.
And then while that scene's happening, you know, there's a bunch of scenes with that. We see some people run into the theater.
They talk about, oh, they shooting out here. They shooting out here.
And they start hiding behind stuff. And this is not in the movie. This is like they ran into the theater.
It was a gang of people that ran into the theater.
So what we did, look at each other. We didn't even say anything. We hopped out of our seats. We went opposite the exit that they came, booked it to our car. By the time we made it to our car, the police were just arriving. We made it out of that situation. Because we had the awareness and we knew, we alerted ourselves. Our code was just to look towards each other.
And we never really got the full scoop on that, of what really happened, but the way that people were reacting, it was a nice area too. And when it happened, it was like, whoa, what, did it really happen here?
So it can happen anywhere. That's why your awareness has to be key. And that's why you got to practice it. Okay. Now, I want to go back to this part of the lesson. I know we went on a tangent, but I think all of that information is great for you guys to have because it's part of defending yourself. Now, going back to how to make this, as he's walking towards me, realistic, because that's not realistic, okay? There's a bunch of different ways to do this, and this is where you, as a person, learn your self-expression, because everybody will have a different way of doing it. The key point is to have at least one of your hands in the proper space. Right, so if he's there, as he comes closer, maybe I have a hand this high, okay? Doesn't have to be that high in reality, but when you're practicing, just to get that as a habit, okay? Now, start back, we're gonna go slow. So he's that far, maybe I'm saying like this, maybe I see him come closer. Especially if he walks that close to me. If somebody's walking that directly to you, maybe you should look at them. I didn't look at him that time, but that takes practice, looking somebody in the eyes. We'll talk about that in a second. So he's walking towards me. Maybe I do something like that. Okay, and notice I also took a step back because that makes me feel safer to create distance. Sometimes that response, that fear response, is actually the best response for you to protect yourself. Okay, because if I do this and he tries to reach now, I'm already halfway out of the exit. Also, if by me putting that weight on my back leg, taking that step back, he's there, by me putting that weight back there, if he does try to reach, and I'm staying in place, I can use that right there. And I can hit in different places. And it looks like I can't do anything with these hands.
He's Christian.
Yeah, I am. We are Christian.
You'd be like, that Christian dude just kicked me right in the, right in the balls.
This looks like that maybe I can't do anything. He's vulnerable. His head's open. In fact, it's delusion or illusion, whichever one it is. Okay, because say he's doing that, I'll start back. He's there. I start putting my hands closer. He throws a punch at me. That's all I need there. Then boom, I can attack and defend back from there. And so this is also defending different ways, which
So Jesus was always defending himself.
Mhm.
Wham!
Yeah, you have to.
Wham!
If you're a Christian, prayer is your defense.
Just let that simmer.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So now finishing up with this is there's so many things we can go with this, but I think this is that was a basic concept with it. Now I want to talk about a more higher level, advanced concept with it. Still pretty simple to understand though. So this is something that I've noticed when doing all these different martial arts is that there's a pocket of safety. There's a safety zone when you're around somebody, okay? And this is when you're in the red zone. So this is not when we're at code white, step a little closer. We're yellow. This is when we're this close to each other right here, okay? Now, can you just stand like this? So the safety zones, there's 4. There's a lot more if you could think about it, but I've narrowed it down to 4. Okay, 1 is here, 2 is the other side, 3 is this side, and 4 is that side. I'm peeking here, so this is 4. Now, the reason I say that that is like a pocket of safety is because if I'm not used to this, I'm gonna be scared of being close to a problem.
Oh! Say it again.
If I'm not used to this, I'm gonna be scared of being close to a problem. You have to find those safety zones within your problem so that you can think critically and get out of it. The way you think critically is by having a safe space, a safe zone to practice slowly. So this is our practice slowly to you guys. This is a gift for you guys, okay? Now, this is why I call it a pocket of safety. Some people might say something different. This is effective for me, okay? Now, just hold your arms out for now. So let's say I'm here, okay? I have to have my hands up. 3 things I gotta do. I wanna have my knees bent and engaged. I wanna have my back as straight as I can, and I wanna have my hands up. Okay, now, this is a safety spot because if he tries to punch with that, I tuck my head in, that's not gonna hurt that much, okay? Even if he winds his hand back and tries to do that, I can cover pretty easily. But then also this, knowing that I'm this close, as soon as he pulls his hand back to try to hit, boom, I'm striking there. So I'm at a really good spot here. Now, let's say he tries to.
You're at a great advantage. The closer that you are to be able to handle your problem.
Mm-hmm. Oh, even closer here.
Oh,
you see?
that's scary.
No, that's
like
scary.
that.
Him. Now, before there's this space. So let's just say you throw a haymaker here. So he throws that haymaker, boom, down right into that safety spot right here. Okay. Now he tries to throw that punch, boom. I could block it. I could go around. I get even closer to him here, and now I can work and do some other stuff. Okay, but going back to that technique earlier, he throws the punch, I get into the safety zone, he pulls back, strike. I get closer, because now I can take my problem down, because I got close enough to see and feel where I need to be, to take it all the way down. Now, so that's from one side. Now, what if, that was me facing my problem, and my problem came face on, okay? Now, what if I get behind my problem? So this is one way you can get behind the problem. Throw that haymaker you did earlier, you get under it, and now I'm right here, okay? So now I'm in this other safety zone. So how is this a safety zone? Try to attack with one of your arms. Boom. Now he's down. Because I got close enough to him, I was in a good safety spot. I kept my knees engaged. I tried to keep my back straight, and my hands were up. So I was able to do those things and take him down pretty easily. You didn't give me that, did you?
No. And so, just to wrap things up, defending.
Mm-hmm.
what's really cool is in order to make this work, you got to make the understanding of the attack and the defense work together.
They have to work together.
So you got to know when to attack your own mind. You also got to know when to defend your own mind. So attacking your own mind looks like making yourself better, chopping things out of the way that needs to, moving things and compartmentalizing things so that you can think straight and make the right decision in that moment, especially when you're making attacks out in life to grow.
And when it comes to defending, you have to first start with defending, because it starts with awareness, being aware of how far you are from the problem. What do I need to position myself when I get close to the problem? Where are spaces of safety that I can be in temporarily while I figure this problem out to tackle it and take it down?
This. All right.
That's it right there.
And
you got to do the mantra.
Yes. Mind,
Body.
spirit.
I use my mind to think,
I use my body to move.
and I use my spirit to spread love.
All right, this has been Martial Art Mindset. We hope you have enjoyed and have learned something. Make sure you check the next and the rest. All right, and peace.